Good morning. I'm going to be working on this Crassula Ovata today. This is not a Portugal afra, this is Crassula Ovata. I don't know the variety. It's a plant I've had for some time now, since 2016. And I don't consider it a bonsai per se, but it's more just a jade plant that I've pruned so it looks somewhat, tree-like. Nevertheless, I still love this plant and enjoy watching it grow. It's got really tiny growth, and it's always been really healthy for me. Maybe once I get some of this extension growth pruned off, maybe it'll start looking a little more tree-like. I also studied it quite a while last night and have determined some structural changes I could make that might improve its appearance a little bit. So I'm excited to get working on this tree. Alright, so I'm going to get started. And I love the way this foliage looks. There's a close-up shot. And I actually hate to prune it because it's not going to look better once I prune it. It'll look worse before it looks better. But then once it starts growing again, it'll be looking good. And I pruned this quite a bit, so this is not the first time by any means. So first of all, the structural changes. There's some branches that are growing back in towards the trunk, and those I want to get rid of. One of those is this, and this is actually also a point where it's coming from, there's 3 branches coming from one spot, so I'll get rid of that inward growing one. Clean it up a bit. And then the other spot where that's occurring is this one right here. There's 3 branches coming from one spot. I'm going to prune that off. Okay, so that opens it up quite a bit. And so for the rest of these, this won't be a long video. I'm gonna just prune down these long extensions, these long straight extensions. And this isn't going to be one of those videos where, it shows before and the after looks all great and better. This tree will look bare and not as appealing after pruning, that's for sure. But it's been growing really well for the last couple months now. It warmed up a bit in my basement, so it started growing again. Had been growing very slowly in the winter. So I think it's got a lot of momentum going right now, and once I prune it, it'll take off again. So looking really bare bones now. But, if I would have left it to grow unchecked, it would have just gotten longer and longer and longer, and this will make it ramify a bit more, and just keep it small, because that's basically the goal of this plant. It's just keep it small. I don't want it to get huge. And I'm left with a lot of these cuttings, which I will propagate. I'm thinking, is there anything else I want to make structural wise? I can make more changes. Actually, I am going to make this one, I'm going to take this one back even further. And I'm debating whether to get rid of this one or not. I think I'll leave it. Alright, well, I'll leave it there for now. So here's the spin. And again, not looking too great. It was looking better before, really. But I'm confident it will start growing again, and I'll do an update. Maybe even before I publish this video, I can do an update showing some new growth on it. But yeah, super easy plants, Crassula. Not as fast growing as Portulacaria, but an easy plant because you can water them quite a bit. When they're growing, you can give these guys water and they'll take it in. When they're not growing, you don't want to give them too much water. And you can achieve something that looks kind of like a bonsai. The really huge benefit to succulents though is I could just not water this for 2-3 weeks and the leaves would get a little bit wrinkly, but just be superficial. It would not die. So great plants for people who like to, go on vacation or need to be able to neglect their plants for a few weeks while they're gone. Crassula are great. So I thought I'd also show what I'm going to do with these cuttings, because these readily root from cuttings very easily. So I have this pot with dry bonsai soil, and dry is actually intentional. I'm not going to water this, because what you can do is you can just cut these and then let this callus over this, because it's very wet. It's a succulent, so it's full of water. You can let this callus over for a few days and then plant it. What I'm going to do here, just for so I don't have to do that in a few days, is I'm going to take off the lower leaves and put this in dry soil, and then I'll just leave it like that for a few days before watering, maybe even a whole week. And that way the cuttings won't rot. So again, just taking off the lower leaves. So just so there's something to go in the soil. Actually create a little hole maybe. That didn't work. There we go. And I'll just put these in and leave them be. Alright, so I just wanted to end with some concluding remarks. I've heard that in bonsai you often need to take one step backward to take 2 steps forward. And I think that's true. Today this tree took 1 step backward. And hopefully with some of the structural improvements and just reducing the heights and those long extensions will result in a nicer looking plant in the future. I actually took another big structural branch out and I like it. That was needed, and I can see the bones look better. I could even maybe do a little more of that on the top. But anyways, you often, it's hard to prune all that beautiful growth that you've worked so hard to achieve. But in bonsai, to keep your trees moving forward ultimately, you often need to do that pruning and that structural pruning. So thanks for watching, and talk to you later. So here it is 3 weeks later, and we've got little bitty leaves all over on these cut points. So right here, leaves, new leaves here, new leaves here, new leaves here, new leaves here, and yeah, it doesn't look great yet, but in 3 more weeks, another month, definitely in 2 more months, it's going to be looking great again. And each one of these cut off ends are going to have new growth. So yeah, I'm excited to see it again looking good here in a few weeks.